Hello, my name is Christian Connor, and today I am here with
Amanda Craig.
Amanda Craig. Awesome. So, who are you, and what are we doing?
So I am a emerging mixed media artist located
Awesome.
here in Bastrop, Texas.
Yeah, artist as in like chicka chicka or like draw.
As in painting,
Okay.
so not a drawer, there is
Yeah,
a difference. So I paint primarily on canvas and wood panels.
that's really neat. How long have you been doing that for?
Well, I got started in art mostly around art journaling.
Okay.
And so it was kind of like my entrance into the art, like my visual arts.
Yeah.
And before that, I was more interested in music and writing. Those were kind of my creative mediums. So I got into art about 2017 or so, started with art journaling, and then eventually moved into canvas and wood panels, as I mentioned. And so that was probably about 3 years ago.
Okay. Awesome. Well, what brought you to Bastrop if you're not from here?
I am a native Texan, but I am not from Bastrop.
Okay.
So my husband and I moved to Bastrop about 10 years ago. And
Nice.
August was our 10-year arrival.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So we moved here honestly for the beauty of the area.
Yeah.
My husband is Australian.
Okay.
And we lived in another town in Central Texas, which I won't name because I'll say that he wasn't impressed with the native or natural beauty of the area.
I understand. So I shouldn't ask where you're from?
No. I don't want to say anything bad about them. It was a nice town, but we wanted something with more of an active outdoor scene.
Okay.
And something with more of the native beauty that there were areas in Bastrop that reminded him of Australia.
Yeah.
And so, so we moved into the Tahitian village area of Bastrop. And yeah, we love it here.
Perfect. Well, we already covered kind of what you do, but what is the business itself?
So, my business is, I don't have a storefront.
Okay.
I am primarily online, although I do have paintings that are located at the Lost Pines Art Center.
That's awesome.
And I also have paintings at Heritage Hall, both
Really?
Downtown. Yes.
That's awesome.
So you can go to either of those places to see my art.
Yeah.
And then aside from that, I do vendor shows, exhibits, that kind of thing. But otherwise, you can contact me anytime.
Yeah.
And I have an online portfolio at littlehavenartstudio.com.
Yeah.
And so you can see all of my art there, and it will also tell you where it's located if you want to go look at it.
So do you mainly do that, or do you mainly do kind of like custom things for clients? Is that a thing?
So I've had some commissions, but I do mostly where I paint myself. Yeah, I just like paint whatever I'm led to paint. So I haven't gotten as much into commission work.
I understand.
I don't know. I find the negotiation process, I don't know. It's not something that naturally comes easy to me. So I prefer, I guess because art is a creative output for me. Yeah. So it's mostly
painting kind of what you feel when you feel.
I have definitely a faith-based aspect to my art. Yeah. But I also am inspired by the area as well. So I do have paintings that are that feature the Lost Pines and that kind of thing. So
that's awesome. Are one of the ones featuring the Lost Pines in the Lost Pines exhibit?
They have been.
Okay.
I'm trying to think right now. No, not right now.
Not right this second. No. That's funny.
When it comes to art, there's definitely meaning that I feel when I create my paintings. Yeah. But I don't try to tell other people how they might want to feel about that same painting. They might see something in it that's different or that calls to them in a different way. Yeah. So I'm, and I would be really hesitant to try and tell somebody that, this is what this painting means. Yeah. So I would just say that, my paintings come from a place of inspiration, whether it's inspiration for faith, inspiration for local beauty, nature. Yeah. Sometimes it's bigger life questions. I also have health issues. I have fibromyalgia, and sometimes my challenges with that are also inspiration for my art. So that all plays a part in it. But I think art definitely has different meaning for different people, and it's because everybody's perspective is different, and everybody has their own life experiences.
Definitely. So kind of, I guess, whatever you make can be interpreted however someone feels like.
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, to some degree. To an extent, right? To an extent. Yeah, I would agree.
Awesome. Do you mind if we delve on the condition you have at all? Are
Sure.
you comfortable talking about that?
Yeah.
All right. I guess tell us what it is, how it affects you then.
So fibromyalgia is a neurological based syndrome. It's actually something that's been around for a long time, but doctors, there was actually a stigma associated with it up to, I don't know, even like 10 years ago or something, where doctors felt that it was in patients' heads and they were making it up. But they've now identified, through testing, they have confirmed that there are markers that identify that it's an issue. So fibromyalgia is associated with chronic pain, chronic fatigue, and cognitive issues. So the chronic pain thing, basically, because the doctors would look at people who had it and they would test them and they wouldn't see anything wrong with their muscles, and the pain is felt in your muscles and your joints.
Okay.
But now they've identified lots of different markers to show that it's neurologically based. So, for example, there's been a test from a few years ago where they identified by doing MRI scans that there is, for people who have fibromyalgia, they have significantly reduced blood flow in the brain.
Really?
And they don't know what causes it, and they don't know how it plays a part in it. But it's one marker they've identified, and there's others. But anyway, I won't bore you with it.
No.
But anyway, so their science is finally starting to identify some things that help them to actually see what fibromyalgia looks like, even if they don't have a specific, really credible test for it.
Yeah, interesting. So how does that affect kind of your day-to-day then, if it does?
It affects my day-to-day a lot. So I deal with chronic pain every day. I deal with chronic fatigue every day.
Yeah.
So, and I know a lot of people will say, oh, I know, I get tired too, but this isn't like tired.
Mm-hmm.
This is when you wake up in the morning, you're just as tired as you were the day before, and you never wake up feeling refreshed.
Interesting.
So it's they've associated the fibromyalgia with issues with sleep, like sleep disturbances, maybe helping to trigger or cause it. And they believe that a stressful event or chronic stress is also a trigger for it. But yeah, they still don't fully understand what causes it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's really crazy. But yeah, so it's meant that at times I've had issues with walking, and it's caused things like spasms, torn muscles.
Really?
I've had a subchondral insufficiency fracture in one leg. So it's caused different issues, but all associated with pain and fatigue.
Right.
And then the cognitive issues are, you've heard of it with different conditions, but for fibromyalgia, it's called fibrofog.
Oh, okay.
Where you may I'll have issues with focus, with, as you could tell from our text message and getting this interview set up, where I kept mixing the days up. I couldn't keep them straight, no matter how hard I tried. Even like during the day, like I'll forget what day of the week it is, and I have to keep going back to a calendar to check. And it's gone all the way to something more extreme, like I'll be driving and sometimes I won't recognize where I'm at. And it only for a few seconds, and then it passes, and then I'm back to remembering where I'm at. So
that's really interesting. I guess, for lack of better words, do they know how to like help you with it or fix what's
There's
going
no
on?
cure, unfortunately. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they don't really know what causes it. There are medications out there for it, but none of them have proven to be very effective.
I understand. It's all experimental still.
Experimental, and I mean, some of them have been around a while, but I have not taken any of those, but I do know people who have, and most of them have found them to not be very effective. So they seem to focus mostly on medication that treats depression, because there is association with depression, and because again it's neurological, they seem to think that if you treat that area of the brain that's affected by it, that it may improve the condition. And I'm sure it has helped some people, but it doesn't seem to be very effective for a lot of people.
I understand. So kind of maybe just depending on each person's individual levels of whatever hormone or this
hormones
or that.
And how much they're impacted, and their level of severity and that kind of thing.
So what is something you wish you knew about Bastrop before you moved here 10 years ago, right?
Something I wish I knew. Is this supposed to be positive or negative?
Either or both.
I would say the only thing that I would find challenging about Bastrop is the lack of specialty doctors and medical care. And I did not know that coming here. I have to go for my medical care into Austin. I've even talked to a local doctor recently.
Yeah.
I was going to him for help. He lives in Bastrop, well, as far as I know, he works in Bastrop anyway, on a regular basis. I'll say that. And he told me that's one of the things that we accept about living in Bastrop is that we don't have. This is a doctor telling me that we don't have specialty medical care. You have to go somewhere else. And I just thought, well, if Elon Musk can find this town, why can't specialty doctors find this town?
Right. Yeah, at least one or two.
Right.
Yeah. That's something I encounter a lot as a real estate agent is people are like, well, where do we go for surgery? I'm like, got to drive 40 minutes back the other way.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just how it is right now.
It is frustrating, and I hope it improves.
Yeah. No, that'd be wonderful. Yeah. I'm hoping maybe after the Chipotle we get some sort of...
Maybe Chipotle will bring them in?
I wouldn't be surprised. Chipotle can do some crazy things.
Well, I'm hoping that with all the stuff that's going on with Elon Musk coming in and bringing everything in, that as it's bringing in more people, that we will start to see that expansion in better medical care.
Yeah, I would hope so. Especially with the amount of people it's going to bring in.
Yes.
So,
because otherwise we will really be in trouble.
That's for sure. Well, what is something that you love about Bastrop and then something you don't love about Bastrop? I guess you just said something.
I'm going to let that count as my don't love. Because it's really, honestly, it's the only thing. I really, really love Bastrop. And it's why, I mean, when my husband and I drove around, like, looking for places to live, you know, we just... it's just a very unique spot in Texas. And we love the natural beauty. We enjoy hiking. We enjoy, I mean, where we live in Tahitian, we're just surrounded by beautiful pine trees and the wildlife, you know, on any given day on our property, you can see deer, foxes. We've seen turkeys. We've seen coyotes, you know, just armadillos, everything. Like it's a fantastic area of Texas. And so you know, it would definitely have to be my primary thing would be the natural beauty. And I would say also, you know, the small town atmosphere. And I know that there are people that are frustrated by that. And I know that the town is growing.
That's for sure.
But I would say that even if you feel that way about Bastrop, it's still better than a lot of other areas of Texas. You know, Texas is growing, and it's just one of the things that's happening.
That's for sure.
And you know, we all have to learn to adapt, to some degree. And I still think that Bastrop is a fantastic place to be.
No, I'd have to agree with you there. Where would you rank Bastrop if you had to put a number or a letter to it, like A+, C+, somewhere in the middle? I would say D would be failing. A would be exceptional.
You know, it's going to be somewhere between an A- and a B just because of that medical care issue.
There's always room for improvement.
Yes. I mean, you know, I think that for a town this size to have, you know, so many specialists that you can only get to come into town one day a week.
Right. Or not at all.
Or not at all. Well, and then it's booked out for months because it's just the one day that they come in, and it's just, I think that's something that Bastrop needs to work on.
Definitely. No, we should hopefully be having something pretty soon. You have a favorite date night spot here, or favorite restaurant, or both?
Favorite date night.
Well, I'll tell you our most popular one so far. Neighbors.
And that's probably where I'm going to go.
I have to agree.
Neighbors is fantastic.
I love Neighbors.
You've got a wide variety of food options, and you have beautiful view. So
and it's delicious.
And that makes it tough to beat, really. If you're talking about comfort food, we love Pawpaws.
Pawpaws is the bomb.
Yeah.
That is the best catfish in Texas.
It really is.
Because it's kind of hard to find good catfish around here sometimes. You go to Mississippi, it blows you out of the water. But around here, Pawpaws is where it's at.
Yeah. And plus, I have dietary issues also with everything else, so I have to avoid several things, and I can still eat safely at Pawpaws. So I love that. You know, some places you go around in Bastrop and you tell them you can't have gluten or dairy or honey, and they look at you like
not a real person.
We can't really help you. Like, I don't know, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But you know, it's expanding, it's getting better. But Pawpaws, we can eat there, and it's great. Neighbors, we can eat there. So, you know, it's getting better. So I would say that's probably our top two.
Our top two.
That isn't that there aren't other good places.
Right. But those are probably one of my favorites too. Yeah. Have you had Bearded Bakery yet?
Have not.
No? I'd recommend.
Do they have gluten-free?
I would have to imagine they do.
see, we go to Tough Cookie, and so I enjoy Tough Cookie Bakery
Tough
for that.
Cookies, yeah.
They have, you know, cinnamon rolls the size of your head.
Yes.
Now, they haven't made those gluten free,
Yeah.
but those are fantastic, and I bring one of those for my husband. He
Yeah.
loves those. But they have a lot of great options that I can eat, and I love them.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Was there anything else that you would like the community Bastrop to know about you or your business, what you got going on?
You know, I would say being an artist is kind of an interesting thing. I don't know if it's just in a small town or not, but I find it interesting that when I meet people, I have a lot of people that when I talk to them, I meet them for the first time and they're coming up and they're looking at my art.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people that say things to me like, oh, I wish I was artistic. I can't do any of that. And I find it a unique thing about art because I would never go up to a plumber and say, oh, that's so cool. You know, I can't do any plumbing.
Right.
I don't know what it is about art.
Yeah.
But, you know, I feel like art is something that people have a lot of opinions about it. I really wish if I could have the art scene in Bastrop go any direction, I would just say that I would appreciate it or love it if people would look at art as something that they decorate their home even seasonally.
Oh, interesting.
A lot of people have mass-produced art in their homes, and I'm not saying that that's wrong or bad.
Yeah.
But as you have more and more local artists, it's becoming easier, in my opinion, to have or should be, right? If you're looking to find local artists that can represent what means something to you.
Yeah.
And even if you have your home set up with, you know, maybe paintings in some of the rooms in your house, feel free to switch those up or change those out, right? Like, I don't know why we think that art has to be immobile in your house or it can't change according to your mood or according to the season, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just
never thought of it that way. That's so fun. Like my grandma, she switches out her, you know, bed sheets and everything with each season.
Yeah.
I never thought about switching out the paintings.
We switch out a lot of our home decor, but for some reason our paintings remain immobile on the wall and they never change.
That's a good idea.
So, you know, I think it should be part of the creative expression in your home, basically.
I have to agree.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
So.
Where can people reach out, I guess, find more out about you, your business, or just keep in touch, see what you're doing?
So they can go to my website, which is littlehavenartstudio.com. I also have a Facebook page, so which same thing, Little Haven Art Studio. So it's easy to find.
Nice and easy.
I have a YouTube page, but I'm just getting that started, so that's all right. And then
you're good.
That's all right. And then the final thing I'd mention is I just opened a marketplace store on Contrado's website.
Really?
So if you're familiar with print on demand, you can. It's a website where you can place your designs, however, you know, whatever your creative bent may be, on objects. So, you know, tea towels or pillows or shirts or whatever it may be. So I have a store set up on Contrado, and they are based out of the UK. But they can still get items to the US usually in about a week.
Really?
A few things are
kind of impressive.
Slightly. A few things are a little bit over, might be 8 or 9 days, but they're generally really pretty quick. Their quality is high, and that's my purse is one of them.
Really?
That's one of my paintings.
That's awesome.
Thanks. So that's one of my paintings hanging at Lost Pines right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So you can find at my store, if for people who like more practical art, say like where they want to wear it as a shirt or they want to put a pillow on their bed, you can go to that store and you can customize a lot of the different options. You can change stitching out and choose quality levels. For like a handbag, you can check like choose leather or not and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. So like I guess your storefront or whatever, you uploaded your paintings into there and then they put it on the thing? I set up
products. So I set up right now I have different types of purses, handbags, wallets.
That's so cool.
I have pillows, scarves, and acrylic blocks. So my paintings
Okay.
in an acrylic block form.
Yeah.
And I'm adding more stuff every day. So
That's
that'll be
awesome.
more. Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I enjoy, I mean, as much as I love I mean, I'll always obviously be painting on canvas, but
Right.
it's really cool to also be able to express yourself with art on other objects that you use every day.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was great to meet you.
Thank you. It was great to meet you too.